Hey guys, how's it going? So my name's Bianca. Welcome to Vintage on Tap. This video is going to be a little bit different than my normal videos just because I was tagged by two lovely ladies to participate in a sewing tag that's happening here on YouTube right now. So the tag is 5 questions, 1 take. Normally I do things in 1 take, so it's okay. I'm not too stressed about answering all the questions at once. I'll try and be concise, but I was tagged by Renata from Running in Style and Akram from Akram's Ideas, so I'm really happy to be participating. Anyway, let's get ahead and get down to the questions. All right, question number 1. If you were given a paid sabbatical to spend a year living anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? Probably the Mediterranean somewhere. I don't know, I have a big affinity for, you know, anywhere from like southern France to like Italy and that whole area. I want to be out on a lovely patio wearing fabulous dresses, eating fabulous foods, lots of olives, lots of wine, that sort of thing. I think I have family that's still in Italy. I'm not too sure. This is like from my Puerto Rican side, originally from Italy. So I've always wanted to go back and check it out because I've never been. So that's where I would want to be for 1 year. Who was your favorite teacher growing up and how did they influence you? I'm so bad with names. Actually, I grew up as a military kid, so I moved around all over the place. So I do not remember a lot of my like younger years in terms of like teachers' names and specific classes. I was kind of like whatever about things when I was in the K through 12 years, but I did have a lot more favorite teachers when I went to college and started my college classes. So the main one, well, 3 teachers. First guy was my French teacher. I took him for French 2 and French 3, and he was awesome. He was the when an American thinks of the stereotypical French guy, like this was that dude. And he was freaking awesome, like super like whatever, you know what, just do your homework and get it done. And I remember the last day of class that I had with him when I was taking my French 3 class, like after I finished my exam and turned it in. And he's like, you basically know French, you just need to speak it, like just start speaking it. So now it's been so many years that I've forgotten a lot of it, but I would always want to go back. If I had the opportunity to take a class with him again, I would do it in a heartbeat. So that's the first guy. Second person was my my intro sewing teacher in college. So at that point I'd already been sewing for like 10 years at least. So the only reason I had to take the intro class was just as part of my degree. So I just remember this particular teacher and we would just sit there and chit chat all class, because I already knew how to do all the skills. I would just like, oh, here's the, you know, whatever. And she and I would just sit there and talk about sewing the entire class while, I mean, everybody else would be struggling. I mean, I would come over and help them and stuff as best I could, but I just remember her being very warm, and she was one of the first people to encourage me to start a sewing blog. She's like, you should be showing people what you're making. I mean, this was years ago now, but yeah, she was awesome. And then the last really cool teacher was my textiles teacher. She was the head of the textiles department, still is. Really great teacher, really great lady, Scottish, so she had this very thick accent, but really wicked sense of humor. And she would always be the type to call you out on your shit, but at the same time, you knew it was coming from a place of love, so it wasn't like ever offensive, and she would be the type to push you. So there was a project that I did. At this point I'd taken like 2 classes with her, and she'd be the one who'd oversee any other textile design classes that were happening. And she looks at the color palette that I picked for the next project, and I think I have like cat hair. So I picked out the color palette for the next project, and she looks at it and she's just like, you're not allowed to use any of these. Like, what do you mean? I'm not, why? She's like, you use these colors in every single project. And she literally, you're not allowed to use any of these. You need to pick the opposite of these because this is unacceptable. You've been stuck in this little color scheme forever. I'm like, okay. It's not surprising this blouse is that color scheme, by the way. So that was my favorite teachers when I was in college. Name 3 things besides sewing that you're good at. I think I am a very good public speaker. I don't think it's necessarily good. I just don't get shy by it like a lot of people do. I think I get nervous for like the first like leading up to it, but the moment that I open my mouth and say the first sentence, at that point I'm a lot more calm. You know, I've been doing a bunch of YouTube videos, and by the second video I was already comfortable talking on camera. Interviewed with CEOs, I've talked to bosses left and right. I have no problem with telling it like it is. So public speaking and like just speaking confidently, I think I'm pretty good at. I'm also very good at another work-related thing, project management. I do not like chaos in the workplace, and I am not that type who like, how can I put it? I'm not called to leadership roles, because there's some people who feel like a calling to be a leader. I'm more the person who will sit and observe for a minute, take it all in, and figure out what the problem is so we can move ahead with the project. So, so I'm more on that side of it. And inherently, leadership roles will come in that way, but it's not because I'm necessarily seeking them, if that makes sense. It's more like, okay, this is inefficient. We really should be trying something else. We should try X, Y, Z, whatever. And then people end up doing that, which works for everybody, because that means we can wrap up the project and move on and with our lives. So I'm more like in that way. Third thing that I think I'm good at, I don't know. I mean, this one, I remember when I was watching Renata's video, I'm like, yeah, man, like, I think I am good at, I don't know. Jose's standing behind the camera right now laughing at me. Jose, what do you think I'm good at?
Cooking.
Cooking? But that's the next question. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it. I don't know. I like planning. I like being good at putting stickers on my planner and feeling calm and centered by doing it. I'm a very good Virgo. There we go. I'm a very good Virgo. If you know the Virgo qualities, grounded, earthy, practical. I am a very good Virgo, like almost textbook. It's kind of gross, but very textbook Virgo. All right, almost done. Two last questions. Number 4, do you cook? What meal recipe are you most known for? I do cook. I love cooking. Cooking is awesome. I love cooking Thanksgiving, so that's coming up. I'm really excited about that. I mostly cook Peruvian food now because of Jose. I don't know, I just kind of got stuck making Peruvian food. Is there one thing that is something that I'm known for? To be honest, I'm not sure, because I only cook, just like my sewing, I only like to cook just to try and test out the recipe, see if I like it, maybe make it a few times, and then I move on to something else. So there's nothing that I really make over and over again. Probably Peruvian lomo soltado is probably the closest, I think. All right, last question, one sewing question. What is your favorite pattern ever and why? Again, like I said about the cooking, I go through my patterns very quickly, so I'll only make it once or twice. The closest that I've made multiple times was my B6453, if I can remember correctly. I'll link it here in the top. It's one I did for a video series. Either way, the reason I like it is just because it's straightforward. It's a classic pinup style dress, and I can make it quickly. So that's why I like it. But in general, I don't have like a favorite pattern besides that. It's just I make things so fast. So it's like I once I'm done with a pattern, I just set it aside because I'm ready to move on to something else. Anyway, okay, so those were the 5 questions. No cuts, nothing. But I will say I am going to be doing my AMA next month, so I will put in a subscription box somewhere here if you'd like to subscribe to the newsletter to be notified when that's happening. What I did last year, which was so much fun. It was actually, I was surprised at the amount of questions I got. Is I basically solicited questions from viewers, from people on Instagram, from people on Facebook, to send me questions, anything you want to know about me, anything you want to know about my sewing experience, anything you want to ask about, as long as it's an appropriate question and it's not a mean question. I'll be sending out like a notification when I'm taking those questions, and then I'll be answering them in one long video where I just spout off and just, you know, tell you what I think, or, you know, how I feel about whatever. It was cool because last year we were able to get Jose into the video so he could answer some video questions as well. Anyway, I've talked long enough. I am going to upload this right away. No editing, no cuts, all of that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.